In this video, we're going to talk about the best jacket styles for your body type that is authentic, honorable, harmonious, and that looks good on you. So jackets and coats are not the same. Coats tend to be thicker, heavier, and longer. Jackets are usually shorter. You do have longer jackets, but they're usually thinner and lighter than coats. You do need both depending on where you live. Some temperatures requires just a jacket and some temperatures require a coat. So we're gonna go over the jackets in this video, but I will also be making a video for the best coats for your body type. And I also already have a video on coats that I consider to be feminine. So if you want to create a more feminine style or feminine wardrobe, then you can consider those coat style. So let's start with the rectangle body type. So in general or in theory, the aim for the rectangle body type is to create curves, volume, and movement on the body. The other aim is to define the waist or to have the waist look smaller than it actually is. So the key elements to look for in jackets for the rectangle body type that would help you to one, stay warm, but to also achieve a feminine look are 1, defining the waist, 2, embellishments, and 3, below the waist, where the jacket hits or ends below the waist. So defining the waist is a top priority for the rectangle body type, and we can do this by looking for jacket styles that has a nipped waist or has a belt around the waist. So the other key elements in dressing the rectangle body type is to create visual curves, and one of the ways that we can do this is using embellishments. So embellishments on the shoulder line, embellishments below the waist and around the hip area will help you to do this. Try to avoid embellishments on the waist because that would highlight the waist area, and do the opposite of defining the waist. So embellishments around the bust area and below the waist around the hip area will visually create curves because it will make this area look bigger visually, and having the waist simple simultaneously will visually create the curves that the rectangle body in theory aims for. So embellishments can be pockets, buttons, embroidery, elements like these, like zippers that are in like a contrasting color or metal, you know, stuff like that. Anything that just adds a component to the jacket, it will visually add a volume to it. It will bring attention to it. So like for me with this jacket, it brings attention to my upper body. It kind of makes my boobies look bigger than it actually is because these little trinkets pulls your attention, it pulls the eye, and so it visually creates volume in those areas. And then the around the waist is simple, it's black, it blends in with my dress, so it has my waist looking smaller because attention is being drawn up here with all these danglings and embellishments and visual elements. So the other key element for dressing the rectangle body type is to look for jackets that hit below the waist. So jackets that hit below the waist is key in helping to de-emphasize the rectangle waist. If it was above the waist, like a crop jacket, it would just create or emphasize the straight line on the torso. Elements to avoid when looking for jackets for the rectangle body type. When you want to achieve a feminine look, avoid jackets that end above the waist. So this is, like I said, it's going to emphasize the rectangular shape and it's not going to help to define the waist, which is in theory one of the aims for the rectangle body type. Boxy jackets, avoid boxy jackets as this exaggerates the rectangular shape, and like I said earlier, avoid embellishments around the waist. This is going to bring attention to the waist, add volume to it, and it's going to do the opposite of defining the waist. Okay, so here is a list of the best feminine jackets for the rectangle body type. 1, the peplum. So any jacket that flares out below the waist and around the hip area is going to help the rectangle body to create curves and volume around the hip areas, therefore helping them to achieve a more curvy look. It also adds fluidity and movement, so that is like the feminine aspect. Yeah, this type of jacket will definitely let the rectangle body look effortlessly fabulous, like for real. The other feminine jacket that would be great for the rectangle body type is the belted / wrap jacket. So the belted jacket is going to help the rectangle body to define the waist. It helps you to tie, adjust, and cinch the waist manually to your comfort and to your liking. Like I said, this is going to help to define the waist, and then it will in turn add volume and curves to the upper body and the lower body. So the third one is a double-breasted jacket. So the double-breasted jacket is the type of jacket that has the 2 rows or the 2 columns of buttons as opposed to a single breasted that just have one rows of buttons. The reason why the double breasted jacket is good for the rectangle body type, it visually carries the eye from top to bottom as opposed to horizontally. So it helps to elongate and slim the torso area. And especially if this particular double breasted jacket where the buttons is slightly diagonal, where it goes from the outer jacket towards the waist, that's like even the best type of double breasted jacket for the rectangle body type. So this would definitely help to create curves, define the waist, and to direct the eye inward as opposed to vertically. The other jacket that is great for the rectangle body type is a straight cut jacket. So because of the naturally square shoulder of the rectangle body type, this type of jacket would hang nicely on the rectangle body type. One is gonna create movement around the waist, giving it the illusion that there is a smaller waist there, and it's also gonna follow the natural silhouette. When you're dressing for your body type, like, you're not always changing the shape of your body. Like, a lot of times, like, you're accentuating and highlighting aspects of the body. Another jacket that would be great for the rectangle body type is the waterfall jacket. And I love this jacket because it has so much movement and fluidity. It's so feminine. The fluid and flexible and the wave-like effect of like the color adds ease and essentially would create curves on the rectangle body type. This is often like a casual option, so this is a great way to look feminine and curvy while feeling relaxed. So it just depends on the make. It can also like come in more elevated style. So the inverted triangle body type. So in theory, the aim is usually to keep the upper body simple, to define the waist, and most importantly, to add volume around the hip and butt area for this body type. So elements that we're going to look for in jackets to help the inverted triangle body achieve these goals or intentions, we're going to look for elements that, one, define the waist, and two, add volume and emphasis and create curves around the hip and butt area, but also most importantly, downplaying the upper body, the shoulder line, and keeping it simple. So jackets that help the inverted body do this are straight cut jackets. The straight cut follows the lines of the upper body. It doesn't do too much to it, but depending on the length of it, it can add volume and movement to the hip area. And it's also like a simple option, especially if you're going for a more relaxed feel. You're not trying to alter the look of your body, you just need to cover up but look neat. The straight cut is a great option to do that. So like I said, we need to look for waist definition. So anything with belt or nipped waist on a jacket, flares out. Remember, even if you have the same body type, you can still have two different bodies. So it depends on the length of the torso where you would prefer to have the flare out happen, whether you want it to happen right at the waist or at the hip. I find that when the inverted triangle body has like a lot of bust, like a really big bust and a short torso, it's good to look for flared out styles where the flare out starts at the hip as opposed to the waist, because if it starts at the waist, it puts too much clutter around the waist, and then it does the opposite of defining the waist. It makes the inverted triangle look like they have no waist, not in a defining waist, but it's just clutter and volume right throughout from shoulder to hip. And I also find that like deconstructed styles in some aspect is good on the inverted triangle body as well. Structured jackets tend to be heavy, especially around the shoulder line. They tend to have like a lot of padding, especially like if you go for blazers, they tend to have a lot of padding and canvas and linings in the shoulder area, which adds more volume to it. I'm an hourglass, but I have broad shoulders. I can rarely wear blazers because it just adds so much more to my shoulders and it just makes me look more, which I don't like personally. And I'm rather like a softer look like this. It softens my shoulders as opposed to like emphasizing the broadness and the sharpness of my shoulders. So we're gonna also look for embellishments below the waist, so like around the hip area, to visually create volume on that end, and that includes hip details as well. So that can be pockets, zips, embroidery, like a colors or anything that draws the eye to that area. Jackets that fall below the hip line, so as opposed to like a crop jacket, jackets that fall below the hip line are great, and darker colors on the upper part of the jacket, or darker color jackets in contrast to like a colored bottom. Jackets to avoid for the inverted triangle body type: double breasted options. Double breast adds more volume to the upper body. It makes it look wider, and so with the broad shoulders here and then widening the torso area, it's going to tend to make you look square, and it's also going to do the opposite of defining the waist in the case of the inverted triangle body. Big collars, avoid big collars because that's going to add volume to the upper body and make your shoulders look wider if you don't want that. Shoulder pads does the same thing. Embellishments on the upper body like epaulets, like right here, broadens the shoulder. Structured and tailored fits in some instances. In some instances it works, in some instances it doesn't, and we'll go into that. Cropped, avoid cropped jackets as well. Cropped jackets adds volume to the upper body and it's just going to make the inverted triangle shoulders look even more wider. And jackets with a slim fitting bottom, like the bottom of the jacket is slim fitting, avoid that type because it's going to emphasize the broad shoulders. So the best feminine jackets for the inverted triangle body are belted. So any jacket with a belt, or you can easily add a belt to it. This will help you to define the waist, create curves on the lower body depending on the style of the jacket. If the upper body of the jacket is simple, then the belted is a great option. Wrap cardigan, it does the same thing as a belted. It depends on the structure of the wrap cardigan, and it also depends on the structure of the particular inverted triangle body. Some wrap cardigans wrap right below the bust, some wrap in the middle of the waist, some wrap below the waist. It just depends. So give each style, or like if you're considering one, give it a try and see if you like it on your body. It just depends on the placement of the wrap, and it also depends on the structure of the individual inverted triangle body. The cutaway jacket, I love this jacket because it's simple, the lines are clean. The upper body part of this jacket is simple, but then it has a opening, so it creates a vertical line in the middle of the upper body, so it brings the eye to the center of the body as opposed to the width of the shoulders. And then when it goes to below the hip, onto the hip area, the opening of the jacket opens up more, visually creating curves. So I love the cutaway jacket for that reason, for the inverted triangle body type. And the waterfall jacket, it depends on the waterfall jacket. There are some waterfall jackets that have like a lot of volume and movement on the shoulder line, so if you find that type, try it on, but in theory it doesn't really work. But waterfall jackets that has the movement below the waist on the hip area, go for that, and it will help to create movement and curves and ease to the inverted triangle body. The hourglass body type, the jackets for the hourglass body type should follow the natural lines of this silhouette and should continue to highlight the defined waist. So key elements to look for when you're looking for jackets for an hourglass body type is look for form-fitting, belted, which will help to highlight the defined waist, single-breasted as opposed to double-breasted. I'm an hourglass, I can tell you the double-breasted just doesn't work. Even in instances like I tried on a coat that was double-breasted, and at face value it looked good because even somebody in the store is like, oh, that coat is nice on you, but I didn't buy it right away. I took a video of it, and the reason why I didn't buy it is because of the theory, and not so much that it didn't look good on me, but the theory where it's like, I know this doesn't usually work on my body type. I didn't go for it, and then I was like watching the video over and over again, and I could see that if I got that coat I would feel good in it, but then I could see that eventually I could feel or see that something was off. Like I would eventually like not reach for it because it's just like, and I do own one. I own a coat that's double-breasted, and I wear it because it's cold. It's my longest coat, so when I'm wearing longer dresses and skirts, like I need that coat. I do wear it, but it's my least favorite. It adds volume to the waist, it makes me look bigger. In some cases I feel like I look like an overgrown child, like I'm playing dress up in my mother's closet. So I don't recommend double-breasted at all. Like even if it looks good, there's gonna come a point where it's like you're gonna find some dissatisfaction with it. That's in my experience. So look for single-breasted when you're looking for jackets for the hourglass body type. And shorter jackets, longer jackets tend to like distort the figure, tends to like shorten the legs as well. So like for me, if I wear a longer jacket I have to wear pants. When I wear skirts or dresses it just looks odd, like it just does not work. But longer jackets, it just tend to bulky the upper body, and then in a way makes you look top heavy, and even in some cases it just doesn't work. As an hourglass body type, it just doesn't work. Elements in a jacket to avoid are straight, boxy, oversized cuts. It just doesn't do the hourglass body any justice at all, and I am struggling. I can't even lie, like I'm struggling to find jackets right now, and most of the stores are carrying those type of styles, like boxy, oversized, straight cut. Like there are none. As an hourglass, like I am struggling to find jackets in my budget. I'm pretty sure I can find the jackets like in luxury stores, but in my current budget, like I'm struggling to find jackets, and I'm even deciding to like just forego jackets, probably just stick with cardigans, and just when it comes on to the coat time, I do the coats. I've had this jacket for years, but it's a very light jacket. It's made of silk. It's not exactly functional. It only works like when I'm wearing something form-fitting on the bottom. Yeah, like you see, it adds volume, it has like, it's loose, but then it has this element on the waist where it defines my waist and it cinches in, so it works. Yeah, jackets with heavy details and embellishments. I have details and embellishments on this one, but it's not heavy. But you can also see that like it really does, it pulls attention upward, which is not bad, but it adds volume to my upper body. Best feminine jacket for the Hourglass body are short jackets where it stops above the hip. And like I said, as an Hourglass body type, like I can tell you, those are the better jackets. They're hard to find right now, because even though short is one thing, but it needs to be fitted as well, especially for my preferred style archetype, which is sensual. Like I don't like when it's too boxy, I don't like when it's too loose, too casual, like, you know. So short jackets that stop above the hips are great for the Hourglass body type. It accentuates and highlights and maintains the curves of the body. Fitted jackets are great. Belted cardigans, fitted blazer, and belted blazer. To be honest, I teach myself these theories and whatever and observe it when I go into the world. I know the Hourglass body intrinsically because it's my body. So I really do see what works. I think the Hourglass body, like in terms of styling it and for it to look harmonious and look its absolute best, I think we're limited on the styles that look great on us. Like we're limited to form fitting. Like you gotta hug the body for it to like look and feel good and look our best, especially if your style archetype is sensual. So it just depends on you. Like if you're aiming to look your best, then it can feel limiting in terms of like the styles that are harmonious to us. But if you don't care, you're just like, you'll be a canvas for the outfit. Of course you can do whatever you want. But yeah, so that's Hourglass body type. For the Pear body type, the main aim when dressing the Pear body type is to maintain and or downplay the hip area and to add volume and to bring attention to the upper body to balance out the lower body. So key elements to look for when choosing a jacket for the Pear body type are embellishments. So you want to find jackets that has embellishments on the upper body, particularly the shoulder line and the bust area. You're going to also look for cropped and shorter styles because of the contrast in width with the upper body and the lower body. In theory, having a jacket that covers the upper body and the lower body is going to cause a discrepancy. There's going to be some oddness because it's not the same size. And this is just something that's common for the Pear body type anyway, where like even their jeans, which is just meant for the bottom, there is issue for the waist area because it will fit the butt and the hips and the thighs, but then they have a gap around the waist, or if it fits the waist, it's way too tight for the butt and the hip and the thigh area. So the same applies for the jacket, where it may fit the upper body, but it will be too tight or too snug around the hip area where it doesn't work, or it'll be big enough to fit and skim over the hip area, but then it's way too bulky for the waist area where it obliterates the defined waist. Cropped and shorter styles tend to work best for the Pear body type because of the contrast between the upper body and the lower body. If you do wear longer jackets, it should hit mid-thigh. So like if you're gonna get long, no in between. So it's either short or it's long, no mid-length that would usually hit mid-hip, like the hip area. Elements to avoid when looking for jackets for the Pear body type: jackets that end right at the hip, because of the discrepancy, because of the contrast in width with the upper body and the lower body, is just gonna cause sizing issues, and it's going to look odd as well, where it's fitting one part of the body but not really fitting the other part. This is the story and the life of the Pear body. Avoid unstructured shoulders. So unstructured shoulders is like this, like it's just a fabric and it will fall any which way based on how you move your body. I prefer like an unstructured jacket because it softens my shoulder line because I have broad shoulders. But for the Pear body type that usually has narrow shoulders, especially in contrast to their lower body, the unstructured jacket like this is not going to help to balance out the entire body. It's just going to emphasize the narrowness to the body and the sloped shoulders. And another element to avoid when looking for jackets for the Pear body type are jackets with hip embellishments. So the hip embellishment is going to emphasize the broader hips and the broader lower body. It's going to make it look bigger than it actually is, and it's going to bring more attention to the hip area, where in theory usually the Pear body type wants to add volume to the upper body and bring attention to the upper body in order to balance out the entire body. So the best feminine jackets for the Pear body type are cropped denim jackets. I don't know, denim jackets just look good on the Pear body type, particularly the cropped ones, because denim jackets usually have pockets. They usually have all these elements that adds visual bulk and volume to the upper body. So cropped denim jackets look amazing on Pear body type, and I feel like women with Pear body types, they usually have a denim jacket because it really does look really good on them. So the trapeze jackets, if you're going for a trapeze, it would be best if that particular jacket has some form of embellishment and structure to the shoulder line and the bust area to add volume. But the whole point of the trapeze jacket being great for the Pear body is that it opens up, and so it skims over the hip area as opposed to holding on to it or hitting right at it. Cropped jackets, so the cropped denim, the cropped bomber, any type of cropped jacket, those short jackets that look like you just cut it, like those jackets will look amazing on the Pear body type because it's just going to add that volume and width to the upper body while keeping the waist defined and then letting the hips be what it is. It's just gonna look chef's kiss on the Pear body type. Long shearling jackets, tailored jackets look great. Tailored jackets tend to have volume because it has all these layers. It has the lining, it has the padding, it has the shoulder pads, it has all these structures, so it helps to add volume to the upper body. And now for apple body type, the main aim in theory for the apple body type when they're getting dressed is to conceal the midsection, add volume to the upper body, so in order to distract from the wider, fuller midsection. So elements that you want to look for when you're looking for jackets for the apple body type are simple styles, structured lines and fabrics that would help to de-emphasize the midsection, jackets that falls below the hip line, single-breasted. Double-breasted adds a volume to the midsection, so single-breasted are the better options for the apple body type because it would de-emphasize the wider and fuller midsection. Jackets that where the button starts below the bust line, so like this, the zip can go all the way up. But for an apple body type, if they wear this jacket, it'll be best if they have it stop right here, because if you do this, the midsection becomes a part of the upper body. But when you do this, it opens up the upper body, making this look wider, and it conceals the midsection, carrying it in together visually, and having this vertical line in the middle of it, carrying the eye into the center, going down, make it visually slimmer. So jackets that fasten below the bust, or even if it can go above when you wear it, have it fasten below the bust to de-emphasize the midsection. When you're going for jackets, make sure that you can wear this jacket open, because the open jacket also helps to de-emphasize the fuller midsection and it creates a slimming effect. Elements that you want to avoid when looking for jackets for the apple body type are belted styles. Belts can be disruptive and uncomfortable for the apple body type. Avoid double-breasted. Avoid jackets with too many embellishments. We want to go for a simple style. The best feminine jackets for the apple body type are the straight jackets. So jackets that are straight, this will help to slim the midsection. It's simple, it covers the apple body type in an easy and effortless way without too much clutter, without too much going on, without too much crisscrossing up and down. Like, it's just a great, reliable option for the apple body type. Another jacket that's great for the apple body type is the fitted. We don't want any loose jackets because that's gonna add more volume to the upper body, and we don't want to add more volume to the apple body, especially the upper body where the midsection is. So fitted jackets helps to pull it in more, and it doesn't add volume, unnecessary volume to this part of the body. Cardigans are also great. It's simple, the knit is thinner and softer, and it doesn't add volume to the upper body. As well as the waterfall jacket. So the waterfall jacket is a good, it does add volume, but it adds volume in a horizontal way. So waterfall jackets are usually open, and it has like this cascading effect that goes from the shoulder all the way down to the end of the jacket, wherever it ends. So having that on both sides and then having the middle open, especially if the upper body is wearing black on the inside and then the waterfall jacket is in a lighter color, it would have a nice curving effect, but also like slimming the midsection because it has the vertical line going down, especially if you wear a darker color on the inside in contrast to the jacket. I'm going to do a video on the best coats for the body type, so look out for that. If you're going for creating a more feminine style, I have a video on the best feminine coat to have in your wardrobe if you want to start dressing more feminine. So those are the best jackets in theory that works best for each of the body type. Let me know if you agree with any or you disagree with any. Let me know your personal experience with any of these styles. I am still learning, so let me know what jackets you like. Let me know if the jacket that are said that your body type should avoid but it works for you. Let me know. I would love to hear it, honestly. Like, I would love to hear it. And let me know how you feel about the best recommended jackets for your body type. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.